everybody, and welcome to
My Lash to Brain Cells.
I'm your host, Maddie Morris.
And I'm also your host, Elliot Morris.
And if you're wondering why there's no video today, Elliot just got off a plane from a business trip and put a microphone in front of his mouth and put headphones on his ears because he loves you guys so much, but he is not very glamorous right now. He didn't have his glam team today.
Yep, I didn't get to do a full beat.
So he's kind of crusty, dusty, and ugly.
So, but you know what? We love you so much that we're going to do an audio-only episode anyway.
Yeah, we got a face for radio today, honey.
Yes, I do.
I got a lot of questions on my Instagram today when I did a poll of what you guys want to hear about today, and a lot of you wanted to know, number one, stories from my early days and my beauty school experience, and also any advice that we have for beginners. And I will say this is going to be the best advice that you can take if you are a beginner. We really, really care about giving you guys sound advice. And if you are a beginner, there's only really a few places that you're going to look for advice. And most of those avenues are going to lead you very astray. Number one is like friends and family. And although you love your friends and family and they're
what the
amazing,
heck do they know about lashes?
What do they know about lashes?
Nothing.
They're
going to say, I don't know, maybe like glue them to their skin or something.
Yeah, no, it's their job to like support you and be there for you and support your business any way you can. But I have a lot of people be like, oh, I came out with this pricing list and I showed my roommate and she thinks they're too high. And I'm like,
that's funny.
Hello? Like, is your roommate going to be like
I put two pricing lists in front of my cat, and she pawed the one with the lower prices. So I think I'll go with that.
Like, we need to be very, very intentional about who we take advice from going forward in our business, and we should only be taking advice from people that have done the thing before or that are more successful than we are currently at it. Elliot and I still have that like mantra for ourselves. Like, we're not gonna, right?
Yeah, I don't take advice from people less successful than me.
That's true.
That's
wow, you
so
make
true.
that up.
I made it up all by myself.
Wow, Elliot,
Yep.
you're so smart.
First one to say that.
You're creative.
I'm very creative, actually.
And then number two is a lot of people take advice from Facebook groups, and you already know my opinion on Facebook groups. Sometimes, they can be good, but if you are a beginner, I mean, like someone straight.
Sometimes they can be good is a very charitable way to put it.
Sometimes, I mean, if you ask a question that your peers can have a great answer to, then great. But if you're a beginner and you're like, hey, I glued someone's eyes shut and they're threatening to sue me, do not go to a Facebook group.
Yeah, valid.
Yeah.
But if you do have a question and you are going to go to a Facebook group, you should go to the Lightheart Lash Besties Facebook group.
Because at least
Best
that one,
Facebook group on the internet.
Well, at least that one's like moderated.
Yeah,
at
we
least
moderate heavy.
I delete the stupid posts. If you guys are wondering why there's less stupid posts on Lightheart Lash Besties, because I delete them.
And if we deleted your post, I am very sorry.
Because it was stupid.
Oops.
No, I'm kidding.
I'm kidding. It was probably just not on topic.
Yeah, maybe it was an accident.
Maybe it was an accident. Our finger slipped. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Number three is or a lot of beginners starting out, they take a training that promises them the world and promises them that they're going to make, the corny one is like 6 figures every year. 6
figures every 6 months.
Yeah,
that's my training.
6 figures every 5 minutes. And that is like totally great and inspiring and cool. And like you can absolutely, make 6 figures plus as a lash artist.
You can make 6 figures plus as a lash artist. You could make 6 figures gross as a lash artist.
Yeah.
And when most people talk about it, they're like, oh, I make 6 figures. But then it's like, okay, but what are your costs?
Yeah.
You're not bringing home that full 6 figures.
No, I've done it. Be inspired by that. It's fine.
Yeah.
But just be very wary if that's like the number one selling point of like a beginner training, because I think that's like maybe a selling point of like.
I think a lot of people say that as their selling point because they don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
And I think if you're taking a training from someone who's like really good at it and they know how to do it, they're going to have a lot of other things that they can say about their training other than like, hey, you're going to make 6 figures a year.
And it's also like if you don't have the skill set to back it up yet, then it's going to be really hard to reach that. And you're probably going to be like compromising, the quality of your work. And you're probably going to have to take way too many clients a day. And you're going to have to take way too many full sets. Like a lot of the way that people break down how you're going to make 6 figures is, oh, just do 3-4 full sets a day every single day. And it's like, okay, well, you should only be taking, when I was fully booked, I was doing 1 full set a year. I was only living off fills.
No, I remember there was a time, like right when we moved into like our first house in Anchorage, where there was like a month-long period where you were doing a ton of full sets and you were making like $1,000 a day for like a month.
It was post-COVID.
It was post-COVID, and like everyone was coming back.
Yeah, it was after the lockdown, and that was a very unique time in history because for the first time people needed full sets, and people were like willing to pay me double because I was getting them in, you know, and
Madison was making like $1,000 a day. I'm like, oh, Lashes is the best thing ever.
I was making $1,200 a day on average, doing 4 full sets a day, and I was absolutely killing my back, killing my hands. I had nerve damage in my hands, but Elliot was like, girl, you're gonna be a billionaire.
Like, this is the best. And then like a month later it like started slowing down. I'm like,
and he goes,
no.
Why are you making so much less? And I go, well,
like,
because they're all fills now. And so that's why I say fills pay the bills. You can't just look at your full set costs and think you're you know.
But then I was like, why are you doing fills? Just do more full sets.
And I go, Elliot, because I want to take care of my regulars. That's like how I build my business. That's how I sustain my business.
This was before I was the Lash daddy, and I knew how the industry
this was
worked.
when Elliot was like an engineer boyfriend and not a Lash husband.
Yeah, and
he goes, girl, just do 4 full sets a day. Why are you taking fills? You get paid so much less for fills.
Yeah, boo. Just do 4 full sets a day. Easy buckets.
Yeah. So those are 3 things to be aware of. And I will share briefly stories from my early days. So how I got into lashes as a whole, I haven't actually shared. But I started out as a makeup artist, and I was really, really into makeup. I wanted to be a beauty guru when I was in high school. I think we all did.
You're going to be the next James Charles.
Girl, because I was a cool girl in 2016. And
you were.
We were all into the cut creases and, you know, the underpainting and the contouring. And obviously fake lashes were my life. I had drawers and drawers and drawers in my bedroom.
Tell them how early you got up before high school every day.
I had to leave the house at 6:50 in the morning, and I would be up. I mean, it is pitch black in Alaska in my parents' house. I'm 13 years old, and I spent every last dime I made buying mascara, the purple tube of Maybelline the Falsies mascara, to be quite specific, and the little tray of Kiss cluster lashes that you buy at Walgreens. I would go to Walgreens. I would spend every single penny I had buying these, and I would apply them meticulously every single morning, and I would tweeze the tips together, and I would like use a sewing needle like to make sure they were so perfect, and I would get up 2 hours before school started.
You were waking up at 4:45 in the morning?
Some days. If I had cheerleading or if I had like...
That's insane. It took everything in me to get up at like 8 a.m. for my my high school started at like 8:20.
Really?
And it took everything in me to get up at 8 a.m.
Oh, I did school at like 7 in the morning.
Oh,
well, the funniest
terrible.
thing, you guys, is like Elliot and I lived right down the road from each other, and
we lived opposite lives.
We lived opposite lives, and we went to opposite schools.
We did. I went to the like Good Boy Christian school, and Madison went to the Sinner school. But there were a lot of Mormons there. Yeah,
I went to the Sinner school though, honey. And yeah, 7 in the morning, I was fully ready. My eyelashes were huge and glam, and I was addicted to eyelashes, and I loved makeup, and I was so. You know, I don't even think it stemmed from like
trauma,
insecurity.
It's gotta
or
be
anything.
trauma.
No, because it's like a lot of girls in high school are so insecure and they're like caking their face with makeup.
No, I think you just really liked it.
I really
thought it was
liked
fun.
it, and it was a way for me to love on people. And I really liked, you know, I had friends in every single friend group in high school. I never had just like one. I always had friends from every friend group, and it was because I always had things that I could do for other people. Like the cheerleaders, I could do their makeup, even though I wasn't really close friends with a lot of my cheerleading team. I could do their makeup before the games. I could do their lashes before the games. I could, you know, get everyone ready. And that was like our special time together. Or girls that I would have never had relationships with, suddenly they're coming to my house in a line before prom for me to do their prom makeup. And I just was able, and you know, the choir girls, you know, the quieter kids in class, like I always had, I felt like I could connect with anybody by like through beauty in some way. And it was always like my little connective thing with everybody.
That's so sweet.
It was.
So
and
cute.
so I mean, even my first job was I worked at Uncle Joe's Pizzeria, and I was making salads in the back, and I was working as young as I possibly could. I love to work. That's the other thing. And
younger than you were legally supposed to.
Yeah, they kind of gave me a free pass. I was like, look, I'll make the best salads you'll ever see in your life.
They're like, all right.
Even my job at Uncle Joe's, you know what's so funny is I would get fully ready for school, and then I would touch up my makeup and my lashes for cheerleading, and then I would like go to Uncle Joe's, and I would like literally be touching up my makeup like before I went.
So that you can make the salads in the back.
I just loved, like, I loved I loved it. I loved the process, and I'm quite an anxious person by nature. Like, I was always just like, you know, picking at my eyelashes or like ripping my nails to shreds or anything like that. And so I think like for me to, you know, put that like anxious energy into, or I was just anxious in general. So I think to put that anxious energy into something positive, whether it be like fiddling with false lashes or, you know, makeup or anything like that. Nails, I was really into nails for a period of time.
Well, and when you get your fake nails on, then you don't pick your nails.
That's true.
Yeah, which is good.
It was such a positive outlet for me. And so then when I was around 16, there was a local makeup company in town. And I remember they had like a car with a decal on the side. So I thought they were like, big time, honey.
Big time.
Big time. And they had a little office downtown. And
oh my gosh, now we have a car with a decal on the side.
Wait, we do.
How cute is that?
And now we have, 2 Lightheart cars and the moped and the van.
That's so cute.
Now we have 4 Lightheart mobiles. But
Oh my
I thought
gosh.
this car with the decal on it was like the biggest thing in the world. And so I applied for a job and I was like, I want to be a makeup artist.
They're like, how'd you hear about us? And you were like, I saw your big sticker on your
Girl,
car.
I saw the decal on the car.
I was like, dang, they're serious.
And I said, I'm going to Hollywood. I'm going to Hollywood, baby. Follow that car. and I went to their office and I showed her a portfolio, which she didn't even ask me for. She didn't ask me for anything. I was 16.
Was the portfolio all just pictures of you?
No, the portfolio was my friends in my bedroom that I had done their makeup, and I took a Snapchat photo of them, like with their eyes closed and posing. And I was like, yeah, you see that? That's full glam, baby. That's full beat. She was like, well, like, because you're a teenager, like, and you don't have any, you know, like, you don't have an aesthetics license and you're not a, you know, licensed makeup artist or anything like that, you can work under the table and you can wash brushes and you can come on set to like weddings with me and you can put falsies on like the mother of the bride and you can wash makeup brushes. And I said, I got to put falsies on the mother of the bride.
Oh my gosh, this is the greatest day of my
said,
entire life.
This is the greatest job in existence. Sign me right up. And she was like, we can pay you like $100 under the table cash, but like, you know.
And you said, I will be there 4 hours early every time. And they said, that is really not necessary. You could just be like 15 minutes early. No, 4 hours early.
Do you want to know the funniest thing? Do you want to know about my first makeup job, you guys?
Oh,
so
yeah.
my first makeup job, I had just gotten my first car. I was a teenager. I woke up the crack of dawn. It is. Have I even told you the story?
Was this the one in like Hatcher's Pass?
Girdwood.
Oh,
no,
Girdwood.
Hatcher's Pass was a nightmare.
Oh,
that was
you got to tell them about that
worst wedding in my entire life I ever worked. Guys, I had nightmare clients by the time I was 17. So when I'm 16 years old and I'm a professional, honey. I know that makeup artists are meant to show up like wearing all black, hair pulled back, like light, soft glam makeup on themselves. I knew the vibes. So I got my car washed that morning. I brought a box of donuts for the bridal party.
That is so cute.
I brought coffee.
Those donuts cost more than what you were making that day.
I brought coffee and hot chocolate for the woman who had hired me for the job.
That's so sweet.
I showed up before anybody did, before the bride did, before the bridal party, before the makeup artist. It was at this Airbnb in Girdwood next to your childhood home.
Oh,
it was actually next to your childhood home.
Like next door?
2 houses down.
Aw.
Yeah, 2 houses down.
So cute.
I pointed it out to you a few times.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
It was just a
Yeah,
little
I
Airbnb.
remember. That's
And
cute.
I showed up before anybody. And when the first hairstylist unlocked the door, I set up as much as I could. I set up. They gave me the job to clean brushes. I had bought fresh brushes and cleaned them for this job. I was like, I'm not even going to use yours. I have backups.
I brought my own.
And I had my fancy rubbing alcohol spray, you know, all the tips and tricks to keep everything as clean and fresh between, you know, clients as possible. And because my job was really just sanitation.
Yeah, and you were the best dang sanitary worker on this side of the Mississippi.
And I remember I helped out, you know, with everybody. And there was it got really close on time and everyone was like so drunk on mimosas. And the makeup artist was running behind and I was like, oh, I can do these 2 ladies their full face. And she was like, oh, I won't make you do that. And I was like, no, trust me. I will do exactly what you've done on everyone else. And I did their full faces. They were beautiful. I took my Snapchat pictures for my portfolio and I still have these pictures to this day. It is the funniest, just most basic setup ever. And like all my products were just like, you know, from the Ulta brand. Like I couldn't afford anything. And, but I was really good at applying falsies. I will tell you that none of these women had falsies. I put falsies on everybody before they left, including the bride, and they were beautiful. And then word got out that I was getting into makeup. And then I went to college for about 2 weeks, same college Elliot was going to in Alaska. And I dropped out boo.
She couldn't make it as a sea wolf. I always knew you weren't cut out to be a sea wolf.
Okay, sea wolves are the mascot of University of Alaska Anchorage.
World's worst mascot.
What is a sea wolf?
And the colors green and gold.
Yeah.
Oh.
I hate to admit that I've done sea wolf makeup.
I don't know what a sea wolf is.
I don't think that's a real animal.
No, it's not a real animal.
Really?
No, not at all.
Oh,
it's like a wolf with a tail.
I hope we don't have any sea wolves listening.
Oh, no.
The actual animal.
Oh, yeah. They'd be so embarrassed.
So anyway, I went to UAA for a few weeks, and then I had this I haven't talked about this much on the podcast, but I had this light bulb moment sitting in a class one day, and I was sitting next to one of my dearest friends in the world, and I was shaking. And you know when something is just so wrong for you and your legs are shaking? Do you get that? No?
Yeah.
Guys, I have turbo anxiety.
That happened to me when I kept stalling the manual car in Italy.
Yeah.
That was the last time my legs were shaking.
Yeah, I have honestly, guys, I have turbo anxiety, and I always have, and it's gotten so much better in the last few years, which is crazy because I'm busier than I ever have been. But it's not a busyness thing. It's I don't know what it is.
It's all because of me.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what it is.
It's all because of me. I fixed you.
Elliot calms me down. He does. But I was sitting in class, and it was, in Alaska. I had just graduated high school, and I'm sitting in a college class. The class was stupid. It was a stupid class.
Yeah, they all are. Boo, we hate college.
I don't even remember. It was stupid.
This is an anti-college podcast.
It was
Drop out.
It was stupid. But anyway, I'm sitting there with my friend. My legs are just shaking. I looked like I was about to cry, and I go, girl, I need to get out of here. And she's like, oh, do you not feel good? And I was like, no. And I looked at my friend. I was just like, I just don't think I should be here. I don't think I should do this for the next 4 years. I feel like there's something else for me, and I don't know what it is. And she was like, get out of here, girl. Get out of here. It was my friend Jadeja. I'll say her name. And she was like, oh, get out of here, girl. Whatever. And I was like, I'll text you later. This isn't for me. And I went to my car, and I bawled my eyes out in my car. And actually, I'll say her by name. My friend Anna was also a sea wolf. She came to the window of my car, and she was like, hey girl, you okay? And I'd just been crying, and I was like, yeah, I'm just honestly just thinking about my life. And she was like, oh, I love you, girl. And I was like, thanks, girl. And then I just listened to the Lumineers for 30 minutes, and
always makes everything
and that
better.
calmed me down. And then I was just ravenously Googling beauty schools in my area, and my hands just wanted to do beauty just however I could. And so I drove to one in my town on the way home, and I looked in the window, and the only one in town that was really open at the time, and that I even knew of. And I mean, within days I was ready to go.
That's awesome.
And I walked in, and I remember when I walked in, and first of all, it's so funny because you think college dropout. Everyone in my life was so unbelievably supportive. My family was stoked.
Yeah, true.
I don't even remember anyone saying anything negative to me.
Her dad has a master's degree, and he was like, yeah, drop out.
Yeah, my dad was a college professor, and he was the most supportive. My dad has been so supportive of my entire career.
Yeah. And
to this day, I mean, people are like, oh, what's Maddie up to? She's still doing the lash thing. And my dad's like, sit down. Sit down, you stupid.
Shut up.
Shut up. You don't know anything. He was like, Maddie doesn't do lashes. She doesn't do lashes, okay? She's a mogul. She's a businesswoman. She's got multiple businesses. My dad's like, her husband works for her. Her friends work for her.
Her husband is her employee.
Yeah. He's like, Maddie, she's got an office.
Yeah.
She's got the building. She's got a coffee shop. She's got my trainings. My dad's like, have you ever sold out?
She's got 3 branded
month
cars.
Month after month. She's got cars with decals.
Cars with decals.
You got a car with a decal?
I bet not.
No, my dad is and my mom is too. They're both so supportive, but it's just so funny. People always ask about my dad because he was a college professor, and so they think that there was this emphasis on me going to college, but I never even considered going to college. I don't know how I ended up in college.
More so than a college professor, her dad is a hustler.
He is a hustler,
and he recognized real.
And
he recognized that she had that dog in her.
My dad said, "You got that dog in you. Bark, bark, girl.
Bark, bark wherever you want."
Yeah, no, my parents were so supportive of me going to beauty school. So, and I love to work, and I was prepared to do the work. And when let me tell you, my beauty school experience was not a walk in the park. It really wasn't. It was quite interesting, to say the least. And I walked in. It was the only school in my area at the time that was like an accredited aesthetics program. And I walked in, I introduced myself, and the guy working was like, hey, this is kind of a barber's program. We teach barbers, and we do have an aesthetics program, but we don't have like anything to teach you. Like, our stuff is so dated. He was like literally telling me not to go. He goes, our stuff is so dated. There's nothing we can teach you. You seem really driven. So I would hate,
you don't want to come here.
So I would hate for you to like, you know, waste your time, whatever. And I go, oh, listen, I'm just trying to get a license and get out. I'm trying to be a makeup artist. And there's either I fly out of state and go to like Seattle or go to Aveda or something and spend, you know, 30 grand, or I spend $6,000 here and I get my license and then I teach myself. I go, I'm self-taught. I'm already working weddings. Like, you don't have to teach me a thing. I just need a piece of paper. And I said, I'll be no problem to you. Like, I am 18 years old. I'm so young. Like, I'm just going to drive here at 7 a.m, clock in, do makeup on pieces of paper all day, do facials all day, do brow waxes, get my hours, and I'm going to get out of your hair. I'm not going to cause any trouble. And he was like, okay. So paid for beauty school, got signed up. I started on Halloween, and I graduated on January 1st. I was their fastest graduating aesthetics student because I went full time. Like, I did not think about anything else. I eat, slept, and breathed going to beauty school. And everyone there was a barber. They were all men. They were all, you know, in their 30s. Actually, 90% of them were from the Dominican Republic because they were like a group of friends that decided to
That's so cute.
move from the Dominican to become barbers in Anchorage, Alaska.
That's awesome.
Don't ask me why. I like cannot remember the who, what, or how. But
they said this is the greatest city in the world.
I think like 2 of them had like girlfriends here, and then they like convinced their friends to become barbers or something.
Those friends got bamboozled.
Yeah, but honestly, a few of them like really looked out for me. Aww. And they were men in their 40s, and there was one specifically who really looked out for me, and he was really cool, and he would like walk me to my car every night. He had like multiple kids, and he would walk me to my car every night and just, you know, always make sure I was safe and okay, because the area we were in was not.
Oh, it was sketchy.
It was not safe, and there was a lot of crime going on. I really stayed out of it. I kept my head down and just did my work and did my hours like I said I was going to do. But it was crazy. And I'll tell you 2 experiences from beauty school, because I could talk about beauty school all day, but I won't. There was like a lot of just like, you know, people doing drugs outside the building, and like if I was ever, you know, like in the school alone, you know, guys would just be like, hey, can I use your bathroom? And, you know, me being 18, I was like,
yeah, no problem.
Of course, you know, and then people would drink the hand sanitizer in the bathroom.
Oh.
And there was one guy that came in, he drank the hand sanitizer in the bathroom, and he passed out and locked himself in there.
Oh,
and we had to call the police to get him out.
And then they came in and they're like, how'd this guy get in the bathroom? And you're like, oh, I let him use the bathroom.
And I go, he had to pee.
He said he would be so fast.
Yeah, there was another time where, and I'm not even kidding, guys, these are like some of the more tamer stories from beauty school, but there was one man that would come in to get his like daughter's haircuts, and he would have them come in and get their heads shaved. And we started to realize that this girl was like different than the girl he'd brought in before, and they weren't allowed to say anything. And turns out, well, we called the police because we started talking to the girl a little bit when he was like looking away. Like, some of the barbers were getting clues from her, being like, are you okay? Like, are you okay right now? She was like, no. And they called the police, and the guy was arrested for sex trafficking.
That's terrible.
Yeah, really terrible. Like, there is some crazy stuff that happens in Alaska, you guys. And it's not all bad, but I'm just saying, like, my experience at beauty school for these few months, it was like something every day was going on. And I was like, for the last month, I was literally the only girl in the building, and I was taking my clients there. And so I was advertising through Facebook, that I was taking Facebook and Snapchat, that I didn't even have like an Instagram presence, but through Facebook and Snapchat,
she was big on Snapchat.
Yeah, I was a big girl. I had like 1,000 friends, and I would post like the little dog filters, and I was like, I have an opening at 2:00 for a full beat of makeup, like $5.
$5.
Yeah. I obviously wasn't allowed to charge, but I was getting tips, you know, through Venmo, and women would come and people would tell their friends. And it was so crazy because when, like, you know, school dances and, you know, events would come around, seriously, people would come to the beauty school and be like, I heard you have a makeup artist here and she's putting falsies on people for free, honey.
Oh,
they'd book with
Sign me up.
Yeah, so I was taking clients every day. And it was so funny. The last few weeks of beauty school, the owner would try to ask me questions like, oh, can you turn in this thing? And I'd be like, listen.
I got 12 full makeup looks to do today.
I got 12 full beats going on. I cannot be taking this random brow wax. I have so much going on. Like, I was booked and busy.
You don't understand how much I got on my plate right now.
I was always booked and busy. And the funniest thing was I was like so on it. I was rebooking people. So people would come in for their brow wax at school. And then I'd be like, okay, so I'll see you in 3-4 weeks. We can push it out. And they were like, you're only going to be here for
You're not going to be here anymore.
And I was like, well, I'm going to be somewhere in 3-4 weeks. And so
just give me, just Snapchat me. Hit me up.
I would get people on my hypothetical books. I'd say,
you guys, Madison can't help but to hustle.
Yeah.
It's in her DNA.
Hustling is in my bloodstream. If your blood type is like A or B or O, my blood type is hustling. People would be like, they'd get their brows and I'd be like, I love your brows. Oh my gosh. Like, let's start off slow and then we'll go more arched but let's not shock you today. And we'll do a tint next time if you're feeling crazy. Book with me in 4 weeks. I'm going to be graduated, but like, I'll hit you up where you can go because it's going to be somewhere.
It'll be somewhere.
Like, that's the thing is I knew that I was going to hit the ground running wherever I started. And crazy thing is I graduated, got my certificate on January 1st. And this is all I'm going to say about this story because it makes me so sad. But I came back to get my certificate and the owner of the beauty school died the day that I graduated.
That's so sad.
Yeah.
It was so sad.
It was really sad. I can't even think about it. But
you know, guys, that wasn't even the worst thing that happened while she was at beauty school. The worst thing that happened when she was at beauty school was that the beauty school was right next to the best Chinese food restaurant in all of Anchorage. And she had no idea until after she graduated.
Two very sad things happened the day I graduated. The day I got my certificate, one of the barbers was eating the most delectable Chinese takeout that I've ever seen in my life. And I said, Murad, where did you get, that was my man, Murad. I should say his name, Murad. He was great. But I said, Murad, where did you get that delectable Chinese food takeout? And he goes, right next door. The bakery next door. And I go, there's a Chinese bakery next door. He goes, yeah, it's around this corner here. And literally, guys, if you took a sharp corner, there is the most insane good bakery that serves like Chinese food and pastries and it's the only restaurant in Alaska that I think is better than anything we have here in Phoenix. It was unreal. And I go, you're kidding me. That's been next door. It was so good. That's been next door for months. He goes, yeah, but it's like you have to turn the corner. I go, I have been so scared to no, but here's the thing. Like being a young girl, and this is just the truth.
No, it's valid.
This is just the truth of being a young girl. Is like I was so focused on getting to my car alive every night that I wasn't even focused on my surroundings. Cause like if I just like looked my head up and I was just like, yeah, one of the 40-year-old male barbers, I'd be like, oh, Chinese food, whatever. But I was so focused on staying alive and getting to my car across the dark, snowy parking lot. And yeah, so I missed out on Chinese food for a few months. I never, ever got it while in beauty school. I could have been eating Chinese food every day.
And it was so good.
I could have,
but
I was packing myself a lunch every day.
Boom.
What a loser.
They had these crispy noodles.
Oh
they were so good. Shout out Charlie's Bakery.
Shout out. So now they know where I went to school. But yeah, right when I graduated, the owner of the beauty school passed away and it broke my heart. And I got in my car and I cried for hours. And then I listened to the Lumineers.
Obviously, because it makes everything better.
It makes everything better for me. And, you know, I just am so thankful because everyone is in your life for a reason. And everyone's in your life for a reason. And I'm so grateful that, like, he really, like, he was very good to me while I was in school and just was very supportive of me and very, you know, when you're young and you're starting out, you know, there's a lot of negative voices, but he was always like, you're going to make it. You're going to do good. Like you got a good head on your shoulders. And he'd always be like, you know, all these knuckleheads and like, you know, all these girls, you mess around, they come in here, they vape all day, whatever. He goes, not you, you know, you're like,
not you.
He was always like,
you haven't vaped once.
No, he was always like, you're going to make me proud. You're going to do so good. You know, we've never had anyone like you in here. He was really
cool.
Yeah. And, yeah. And and so after that I immediately obviously got a job because I had bookings.
Because I had clients to get in.
I had clients to get in, and
she was going to work, like interview at day spas, and they're like, okay, so we can put a few clients on your books, and Madison's like, no need. I already have my books
also
full.
The other thing, it was so funny. The other thing that was funny is they didn't really do like parties when people graduated. Like they didn't do anything. It was like, you got your certificate and you never talk to these people again. But at the time that I graduated, I talked to the owner of the beauty school and I said, like, what are we going to do for my graduation? He's like, what do you mean? What are we going to do for your graduation? You're going to get a piece of paper, girl. And I go,
you graduate.
I go, well, I need to buy like a cap and gown and we need to have a pizza party and we need to get a cake and we need to have like a whole ceremony and like I need to make a speech. And he goes, oh my gosh, girl. Okay. Like do whatever you want. And obviously like it was a very tragic day, the day that I got my certificate, and the whole school was silent. You could hear a pin drop and everyone was like in mourning, quite honestly. And but we still ordered a pizza.
Still had that pizza party.
We had we didn't have a party, but we got a pizza and we shared it, and I bought it, and
that's so sweet.
I just picked up Moose's Tooth for everyone.
Moose's Tooth is good.
And I got my certificate, and that certificate is literally covered in dust and barbecue sauce in the garage right now, but
it was covered in barbecue sauce from day one when they spilled it off the pizza.
Yeah, from Moose's Tooth.
From the Moose's Tooth barbecue pizza.
Literally, people are like, why don't you display your mini certificates on your wall? I'm like, girl, because I have done so much in my life since beauty school that
barbecue.
I honestly did not take very good care of them, and I have them all, but they're crusty and dusty. So it's what you do with them that counts, not how they look. And so immediately I got a job at the day spa. You guys know that whole story, but I'll mention a few things about when I first got into lashes. Is when I worked at the day spa, I said my dream is to be a makeup artist. I don't really care
and they said, that's nice, we will book you with exclusively Brazilians. They said, awesome.
They said, that's nice, you will be doing manzillions all day every day. And yeah, so anyway, honestly, those stories are best told around a campfire. I have no interest in sharing them on the internet.
Oh yeah, no, that is okay.
No interest. Those are for me, and those are for my friends, and those are for people that ask me about that stuff in person. There are stories that can be told off of the podcast.
Facts.
And if you ever get me around a campfire and I'm snuggled up in my sweatpants, be like, Maddie, tell me the time when you did 4 Brazilians an hour for free for 2 years.
Hey, it wasn't for free. You were making like $4 per Brazilian.
Yeah, unless it was a Groupon, then it was free.
Oh, you didn't? Wait, I thought it was just halved your commission.
No.
Or they took the half that was your commission?
No. If someone got a Groupon Brazilian, I made $0. And
that's so bad.
I was under the impression that I was getting my foot in the door, but
you were getting your foot in the door.
When you're fully booked,
you were getting exposure.
Listen, when you're fully booked for 2 years, you're not getting your foot in the door. You're being taken advantage of, honey. I'll tell you that for free.
No.
But if you get me around a campfire and you're like, tell me your Brazilian stories, I'll be like, oh, it was a dark and stormy night, child. But I will tell you a few silly stories from starting out. My first day, they said, we know that there is a new trendy service that has hit in the town, and it is called eyelash extensions. And my ears perked up. I said, I get to do eyelash extensions? They said, you get to do professional eyelash extensions.
Professional?
And I said, oh my gosh, give me those tweezers now. My dreams. Because I thought like lashes, that just wasn't even on my radar at the time.
That's the greatest thing in
the
world.
I was like, okay, I'll do some waxing, I'll do some facials, but at the end of the day, I want to be here so I can like get my name out with makeup and do makeup. And they were like, oh, we don't really do makeup, whatever. But again, it was the busiest day spot in my town, so busier was better for me. I did not want to be sitting around all day. I didn't want to be waiting for walk-ins. I wanted clients every single second of the day. That was perfect for my personality. I didn't want to be sitting around in the break room, chit-chatting. I wanted to be like taking clients. I'd rather do it for free than be sitting around.
True. And
so I was trained by a hairstylist how to apply eyelash extensions. They were 0.20, 0.20, or 0.25 diameter, which does exist. And I will pull out your phones and Google this for me right now.
Bigger is better.
Google this for me right now. The entire salon had a $100 budget a month to buy supplies from a site called discounteyelashes.com. It still exists. I want you to look it up. It looks the exact same as it did when I used to purchase from them. And we had to purchase $100 worth of supplies for literally, I'm not kidding you guys, 5 lash artists, 5 full-time lash artists taking 10 clients a day on those trays and that bottle of glue. And we would literally, walk the glue between rooms for who needed a fresh dot. You need a fresh dot of glue? Hey, I need a dot of glue over here.
Hey,
can you bring
give me
one
a
in?
dot.
I would get knock, knock. Hey, can I have the glue? Hey, can I have the glue? Hey, can I have the tweezers? I was like, oh, they're soaking in barbicide. I need them now. Oh my gosh. Well, give them once. I need them now. I'm like, why are we sharing isolation tweezers?
Hey,
like,
but at least they were the world's best tweezers.
Vitas.
Y'all ever heard of Vitas? If you haven't heard of Vitas, you need to go buy some off of Amazon now. Greatest tweezers in the world.
My trainer, quote unquote, she was a nice lady. I have nothing bad to say about her, but she was like a hairstylist that worked in her house. Like, she was not a lash trainer.
She wasn't trained.
She didn't even have me like watch a YouTube video or anything. She literally said, this is the service. You use these tweezers. You never need to buy another pair. You only need this pair, and you isolate with this hand, and you place a classic lash with this hand.
This is the pair of tweezers you will use for the rest of your life.
And my brain, I don't know what chemically is like different about my brain where I get so like obsessive about little things like this, but I was like, oh, this is my life now.
Yeah.
Like, and 8 years later, this is still my
stuck.
life. And I would argue I'm one of the most obsessed people in the entire world about eyelashes.
Yeah, I would absolutely argue that. You guys, it's scary.
I eat, sleep, and dream eyelash extensions. It's unhealthy. Yeah. I was taught that there's like no such thing as mapping. You just do short for the inners and longer for the outers.
And that is how you snatch it.
That is how you snatch the lashes. And I was taught that and also keep in mind, like, most of my clients were older. They were all like, I had kind of like a 60-year-old clientele, I would say. So not old, but they were like more mature women. And so that kind of worked for, them. They weren't really asking for anything different. They just were kind of happy with, 8th through 12s or 9th through 12s. And if they asked for more drama, I would be like, okay. And then I wouldn't change anything. And then the placebo effect would
do the same lashes, but more dramatically.
Yeah, truly. But I was very precise. And if you look at my pictures from the early days, you can tell that the lashes I was using were like extremely heavy diameters. But most people, when they look at them, they're like, that does not look pretty bad. Like, I was very particular and meticulous about what I did. And I had a very light, gentle hand. And I focused on customer experience over anything else.
You weren't giving people chemical burns.
Nope. I really wasn't.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Because you were placing it at credit cards with from the lash line, even at the beginning.
And people wanted to know a few silly stories of when I first started lashing. And so I don't want to roast anyone except myself. And I will tell you a few silly things that Maddie Morris, did when I started lashing. And hopefully you can't relate. I hope you can't relate at all.
Yeah, that would.
Hands up if you can't relate. I hope you're better than I was. But when I first started out, I was taught to use like paper tape and then gel pads and then underneath the eyes and then more paper tape and then another gel pad. And so we had this funny little saying that we said at the salon, and it was called Tape Mountain. And so I said,
that should be a joke.
How do I tape down the bottom lashes? Build Tape Mountain. And so obviously, like,
who came up with that?
I can't say.
Oh, okay.
I can't say.
It's a secret.
But tape, gel pad, and then obviously their eyes would move and scrunch and whatever,
So
and then
obviously
more tape, another gel pad, and I think my max was like 4 gel pads and 4 tapes, and it would take me like 12 minutes to apply. And then by this time, your client, their eyes are so bloodshot and they're so dry, and they're staring at this, and we didn't even have ring lights, you guys. We literally just had like the medical,
the bulbs,
like the ceiling lights just blaring on them.
They're just staring into a fluorescent bulb.
It looked like a pediatrician's office. And then, so there was that. I used to swipe the adhesive onto Tape Mountain. So there was just like all the little speckles of glue, And then I was not taught to lash on a tile. So you're probably like, what were you taught to lash? A glue ring? No. A flower cup? No.
What are those?
Too advanced.
I was taught. You don't need that newfangled technology.
I was taught that you take paper tape, or in some cases, if you're out of paper tape, Scotch tape.
Obviously.
Heard of it.
Obviously.
And you're gonna take about 20 strips of tape, Scotch tape.
Yep, for sure.
And put it on your client's forehead.
Obviously.
And then,
where else would you put it?
And then you're gonna take a dot. Elliot's laughing so hard, you guys, right now, because I haven't explained this to him in so long.
It's been a minute.
And then you're gonna take a dot of adhesive.
Oh yeah.
Your absolute stringy.
I'm with you.
Clogged,
the goopier the better.
Clogged nozzle, crusted open. You have a pin in the top of it, adhesive.
Yep.
And you are going to squirt a little dot of it in the middle of their eyebrows.
Oh, that's a great place for it.
On the tiniest piece of tape.
I mean, why would there be a gap there if it wasn't for you to put
You know
glue?
what? That's why there's a gap between the eyebrows.
Exactly.
It's for a piece of tape with adhesive on it.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
What if your client
has
moves?
a unibrow?
It has has a unibrow? Oh.
Oh, no.
No lashes for them.
Sorry.
There's no alternative.
Oh, sorry. We can't lash you.
Yeah. I remember the first time I heard of like people putting adhesive on a jade stone.
What?
And I was like, this is extremely
That's
advanced.
crazy.
Like, take all my money.
Where are they
I
going?
was like, I will pay you thousands of dollars to show me how to use a jade stone. and
they're like, okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to take the jade stone and then you're going to put the glue on it. And Madison's like, what?
Take my money. So yeah, I put the adhesive right smack dab in the middle of their eyebrows, and I put my little 0.25 diameter classics onto that Scotch tape palette on their forehead and I only had 4 lines of lashes. I only had 9 through 12. So it's not like I had to like map each client or put different lengths or anything. And, so my inventory was about as bare bones as it needed to be. I mean, I was literally using like just nothing. I was just barely.
You're using a lot of tape, though.
Guys, my tape usage,
off the charts.
It was so bad. We were bringing our own tape from home.
Oh, no.
Because the amount of tape
You're going through the drawers. You're like, Mom, where's the tape from Christmas?
And the receptionist was always like, where's the tape? Where's my tape? And, yeah, I will tell you one other funny story. I because I had no mapping experience, I sometimes had clients come in with like, asymmetrical eyes, or, they had, some sort of different curvature in their lids, or one eye had a monolid and one eye had a different type of monolid. Not all monolids are created equally. Like there was so many different eye shapes that were coming in, and I was doing the same thing on everyone. But deep in my heart, deep in my brain, I knew there had to be a way to customize lashes, but I didn't know how. And I was just a teenager. I was just a baby. And one day I had a client come in. She had protruding eyes. Have you ever had a client have protruding eyes, like bulging eyes? You'll know if you do, because...
Like Bugsy from Bedtime Stories.
Yeah, like Bugsy. And it's actually where a true protruding eye is where the whites of the eye actually sits a little farther on their waterline. And so they look like their eyes are kind of popping out of their head a little bit. And
like they sneeze too hard.
Like they sneeze too hard a little bit. And this woman came in. She... Beautiful eyes. But... girl,
big,
they were
big, beautiful
big eyes. They walked in the room before she did, and I remember she laid down and I really struggled to tape her. And you'll know if someone has a protruding eye, they'll be really difficult to tape because their eyes sit so far out on the waterline that when their eyes close, they don't even close all the way. You're still going to be able to see so much visible sclera of the eye. And she laid down and I go, one moment, I'm just going to ask my boss about something. So I left the room. I go to my boss. I said, hey boss, I have a question. Keep in mind, my boss didn't do lashes. My boss just did waxes. So I don't even know why. Like, I was really in charge. And it was so funny, guys. At 19 years old, with my experience, I was their senior esthetician at one point in time. I was literally the boss. I was the boss of this place. I would like show up in my little blazer, my little scarf, and I was like
Daddy's home.
Daddy's home. I got to keep you girls in line. I'm literally a teenager.
Got to crack the whip.
Crack the whip on Tape Mountain. Use less tape.
We're running out of tape.
We're running out of tape, girls. So anyway, I go to my boss and I go, hey, I just had a question. I know I'm not meant to like ask questions about.
What kind of a policy? No questions. All right, you can work for us, but you better not ask us any questions.
Yelled at every time I had a question, so I go, listen, I know I'm not meant to have a question about lashes or whatever, but I know 9s through 12s. I know 9s through 12s. But I said, I have a client and her eyes look like this. I showed her the picture and I was like, she's in the room right now. And I feel like in my heart of hearts, I should do something like customized on her because her eyes are so big. I don't want to make them look like super big or anything. That's
a crazy idea.
She looks at me. She goes, Maddie, if she has big eyes, give her big lashes.
Makes sense to me.
And I said, well, 1 + 1 = 2, queen. Say less. And I walked back in.
I'm on it.
And I go, how big? She goes, the biggest lashes we have put on her because she has big eyes, so she needs bigger lashes.
Big eyes equals big lashes.
And honestly, like, I see where she's coming from.
I see no flaw in that logic.
If I was someone that had
What's the problem?
If I was someone that had never done lashes, wouldn't you think?
To me, that sounds like a great idea.
If you had never done lashes in your life, and I said to you, well, big eyes, big lashes, small lashes, you'd be like, okay.
I would say, oh yeah, absolutely. Yep. That makes sense.
So I go back into the room and keep in mind, we're using 0.20 or 0.25 diameter lashes. So they're humongous to begin with. And I pull out my Scotch tape. I build my mountain. I tape her down. Takes like 20 minutes. And I applied 16 millimeter decurl 0.25 lashes to the majority of this woman's eyeballs.
To the inner corners?
12s through 16s.
Bro.
She opened her eyes and it was like a cartoon character of all cartoon characters. There was no cartoon character that I could even compare it to, because it was like Betty Boop doesn't compare.
You did
like,
her so dirty.
I did her the most dirty. And she was like, love them. Thanks, girl. And
they're incredible.
Granted, it was like $20 a fill, so like you're kind of
you get what you pay for.
They weren't expecting the world. They were expecting just like lashes in an hour. And she saw me for 2 years.
What a trooper.
She saw me for 2 years, and I actually did her lashes in Arizona.
Yeah, that was so sweet.
She visited me. Did you remember that?
Yeah, you gotta
my redemption act.
redeem yourself. Yeah.
Ooh. The nice thing about not being on camera is I can give you a little foot massage.
Oh my gosh, this is so nice. I like this podcast format.
Yeah, this is so nice. I feel like we're just storytelling. But I moved to Arizona, and she was here for a bachelorette party. She hit me up on Facebook, and she said, hey, Maddie, I loved getting my lashes done by you. I know you moved to Arizona. Can I see you for lashes? I said, oh my goodness.
Queen.
Catapult yourself into my new salon suite right now, because I need to do your lashes. She came in. I gave her a full set. I said, can I do something different on you? She said, oh yeah, I trust you. Do whatever. I've always loved my lashes by you. I said, okay, I'm going to really take some creative freedom here. And I did the shortest
so she put 18 through 25.
Yes.
Big eyes, bigger lashes.
Because I'm a pro now, baby.
You said the problem before, they weren't big enough.
Right.
That was what we were missing.
Yes.
We didn't have the extended
lengths yet. And now my
yet.
sets are $300. You're getting 25 millimeters. No. She came in, and now that I know how to map appropriately, and I teach people how to map appropriately, wow, how the tables have turned. She laid down, and I gave her an M curl set, and they were like, what, 6s through 10s? Like extremely short.
Teeny
like
tinies.
They basically looked like a teeny tiny eyeliner set, and it balanced out her features so unbelievably well. It looked like she was wearing the tiniest little eyeliner look. And I didn't even charge her. I was like, look, I really feel like
you deserve this.
Like, I did not do your lashes to my full capacity when I first started doing them. She was like, oh my gosh, girl, I always loved them, but you're the best, whatever. And that was just kind of like my funniest mapping story. But yeah, then I quit my job at the day spa. We all know why. I started working for myself immediately. And after that, you know, I was in a space that was more of an open space. And so I obviously could have done like waxing, facials, makeup, and eyelashes. But because the space that I had available to me at the time was, and I didn't want to work from home. I knew I wanted to be somewhere, like I wanted more of a storefront. But I was in a shared space, and it was beautiful, and it worked for the time. But I was in more of like a lobby kind of thing. And so obviously I couldn't do waxing because I couldn't have naked people on the bed. I didn't really like doing facials, honestly. They weren't for me. I'm just not a very relaxed person.
You liked waxing more than facials?
1,000,000%.
That's wild.
Oh, yeah. 1,000,000%. Because I felt like for facials, for me, it really takes a kind of personality. Like you have to be very calm and and I really like, You
like doing things.
I like the thrill of waxing.
I like the thrill.
Yeah. It was a thrill. Every pull I was like, ooh, are they going to be bleeding? No, but I did like waxing more than facials. Facials was always kind of just like boring to me.
Boring.
And also with facials, you need to have a lot of patience as a service provider, and you need to have a very patient clientele. But what I loved about lashes and makeup is the transformation is immediate.
Yeah.
And with lashes specifically,
waxing, it's very immediate.
Yeah.
Instant gratification.
I didn't really, and honestly, I have a lot of respect for amazing waxers. It's if you don't do the job, I know how people can be like, oh, gross. How could you do that every day? How could you just look at Nikes all day? But honestly, unless you've been a waxer, you won't get it. And
I don't get it.
And I enjoyed waxing. It is a intimate service. And if you really like value caring for people in an intimate way where it's like they are scared of you and you're making them feel safe, it really feels good to do.
Aww,
you know,
that's
and
so
that's
sweet.
what I liked about it, is because like people would lay on my bed, and I waxed women and men of all backgrounds, and you know, I've had some stories I won't share on the podcast because my mom listens to it and my grandma listens to it.
Yeah.
But it of course there were a lot of like, ooh, like icky, weird, crazy moments, ooh, but like there was so many moments where I would start waxing someone and they immediately opened up to me. They immediately felt like we were friends. I could crack jokes with them. You know,
That's so sweet.
And I loved the little joke cracks. Like even when I was brand new and I was like 18 years old, people would come in and they'd be like, oh, so how's your day? And I'd be like, good, this is my first time waxing someone ever. And they'd be like, oh, really? And I was like, yeah. And I was just joking, obviously. I've been doing it for like 6 months. But I loved goofing around with people and people. My favorite joke, you want to know my favorite joke?
What?
I really had good relationships with my waxing clients. We were so funny. We were like howling.
Girls.
We were howling, laughing the entire service. But there was one time where like every single time a new client would come in, they'd be like, I just feel like I'm not normal. Like maybe it's weird down there. Like I don't want you to judge me or whatever. And I go,
oh, I know this.
And
joke.
I would go, oh no, girl, you're totally good. I've seen it all. And then I would pull the towel out from them. And then I'd go, ah! And I would, but it was, you had to do the joke so perfectly where they knew that it was a joke. And then you would immediately laugh it off. So I'd go, oh no, girl, you're totally good. I've seen it all. There's nothing you could shock me with. You pull that towel out. Ah! And then you'd go, oh my gosh, I'm just kidding, girl. You're perfectly normal. Everything's good. That's beautiful. And then you start waxing. And it just like, it doesn't even phase you. Like, you know, and so I really didn't mind waxing, but the love of my life was lashes. The love of my life. And when I found out that you could do lashes better than how I was doing them, and there was
there were tweezers better than Vitas.
There was volume lashes ? Mark. When I found
they
out
get smaller than 0.25.
When I found out that lashes was like a high quality, luxurious service that people were like willing to lay down for more than 30 minutes for and like book year round, and you could like charge a lot for it and all this stuff, I was like, oh, this is like my business.
Yeah.
You know? And makeup for me really naturally became something that I do because I love it. And obviously, like, I have my licensing now, and, like, you know, I've been licensed in 2 states and whatever, but now I do my friends, like, wedding makeup if they want me to, and...
Makeup by Mario.
That's cute. Like Mario? Yeah. Makeup by Mario. Yeah, and so it's, like, obviously, if, like, my friends, you know, have a special event or, like, whatever, you know, I love doing people's makeup for fun. And now it's great because if I have a model for a photo shoot, like I don't have to hire a makeup artist, you know, I can just like touch them up myself, and I know how to like sanitize everything and bing bong and color theory, and you know, but I had a kit, girl, like my makeup kit, it's rotting.
Full Mac
bag.
I was a Mac artist.
I had a kit. I was building my kit. Like my makeup kit was like, I had that big rolling suitcase just filled with stuff.
You have the whole shade range.
I had a good shade range.
Yeah, you did.
I really prided myself on my shade range.
Oh, just you and Fenty.
Yeah, a lot of makeup. Oh, yeah, I was doing Fenty before Fenty was doing Fenty. A lot of makeup artists had like beige and light beige and dark beige. Not me.
Not me.
Mm-mm. Honey beige.
Caramel. Mocha. Latte.
Chocolate. White. I
What
had
the-
everything.
Albino.
I had the white Krylon paint.
Really?
Yeah, if you were oh yeah.
Oh, you could get anyone.
I could shade match anybody, yeah.
Dang.
But anyway, there was also a time where I thought of like working at a makeup counter, and I went to like the Fifth Avenue Mall and I talked to the Estee Lauder people, and that was like an era of mine. But I never really I never really wanted to work retail makeup. I thought about it for a little bit, but I wanted to do like I loved brides.
Aww.
And I wanted to share this is my last story I'll share before I talk about advice. But my waxing clients from the salon, it's so crazy how when you make deep personal relationships with people, it doesn't really matter what service they get done by you, they just want to see you.
Aww.
Because I had a really big waxing clientele at the salon, and when I quit there, I had a few of them reach out to me for, you know, lashes. Mm-hmm. And then because the space I was in, I could only do lashes, so I stuck to it, and here I am now. But I had one client who I only did Brazilian waxes on. That's all I did was just waxes. She had like a pack of them that she used. And one day she hit me up on Facebook Messenger. I guess I was big on Facebook at the time.
Yeah, you did get a lot of people from Facebook.
I really did. Not Facebook groups, just like friends of friends.
Yeah.
And this woman was like, hey, Maddie, I'm getting married, and I was wondering if you would do my wedding makeup. And I was like, of course. You know, whatever. But this was my first job that I wasn't working for this company anymore. And I wasn't working for the company anymore, obviously. I only did a few little odd jobs, you know, washing brushes with them. But I was like, okay, this is my first wedding job by myself. And so that means I can step it up even more because I'm working for myself now, and I'm paying myself. And so I had a bridal trial for her, because I said, okay, bridal makeup artists, they need a trial. You need to make it perfect. And I had her come to my parents' home
That's so cute.
Elliot, I didn't even live in my own house yet.
That's so cute.
I was 19 years old.
Aw.
I had not met you yet.
Upstairs, downstairs.
Downstairs.
Oh,
I
little
lived-
mother-in-law. That's so
No,
cute.
I did her makeup in the kitchen.
You did it in the kitchen. Oh,
Mhm.
that's so cute.
I did it in the kitchen. She came to my parents' house, and I was so professional. I sent her like a beautiful like email, what to expect, how to prep, how to skin prep, how like what to use to shave, and dermaplane, and facials, and like products to use and not use, and retinols. Like I literally sent her like the whole
That's so
pre-care
cute.
thing. She showed it to my parents' kitchen, and I had it all laid down on my parents' kitchen. I asked my parents to leave, and I did her makeup, and then we scheduled her wedding, and it was in Girdwood. And her wedding morning, I showed up. I remember I knocked on the hotel room to the bridal suite in Alyeska, and the bridesmaid that opened the door was so fast asleep. I was there so early that the bridesmaids were still asleep and hungover. And I showed up, and I did her makeup, her mom's makeup, all of the bridesmaids, and her daughter. And I was only paid for her and her mom.
Oh,
But I just wanted to.
You're so sweet.
I was so Elliot. I was so excited.
That's so cute.
I was so excited to like be there, and so it wasn't like a full like hour-long beat on everyone, but I was like, oh, this is a chill.
Well,
one.
I'm here.
And the bride, she's my girl. She's so chill, the chillest person ever. She was just like, oh, you don't have to do that. You're so sweet. But the bridesmaids were like, I want to like, can you put those on me? Can you like put the little
Aw.
falsies on me? And
That's so sweet.
and just so I was just doing like little 15-minute makeup looks.
Yeah.
And I did her daughter. She was like 8 at the time, flower girl. And then I was packing up my kid to leave, very professional. I helped the hairstylist. I helped with the updos. I have no hair background, but I helped with them. And then I was packing up to leave, and my client was walking out. She goes, do you want to come to my wedding? And I was like, no, I can't. No, I'm not going to come to your wedding. Like, that's your special wedding. No, like, don't. I felt like, no, don't do that.
Yeah.
She goes, no, just sit in the back. I would love for you to come to my wedding. Like, it's going to be so chill and beautiful. And I said, okay. She goes, just sit for the ceremony. And I go, I don't think I've ever been to a wedding before.
Aw.
Like, I had never been to a wedding before. I didn't even know.
That's so
I was like,
cute.
I'm wearing black. I'm not even dressed. I'm not even,
That's so
whatever.
sweet.
Actually, Ellie, this was actually right before I met you.
Really?
This was the month that I met you.
It was October?
It was October,
Oh,
first week of October.
that's so cute.
Yeah, because I was dating
Someone
dating,
else.
someone else.
Someone else.
Yes, and I remember because I texted him from the wedding. I was like,
Aw.
oh, I'm going to come to this wedding. So I was sitting in the back, and Elliot, I remember, like, number one, she looked beautiful. I realized how much, like, I was in love with this job and
Aw.
everything like that. And also, I had done her lashes, and I had done her mom's lashes, and I realized I love lashes. And I was like, oh, my gosh, head to toe. I just love making people feel good.
That's so cute.
And I was sitting in the back, and guess where she got married?
Where? Same place?
The chapel of Our Lady of the Snows.
No, that's.
And I said, if I ever get married one day,
It's gonna be here.
I'm gonna get married in this chapel. This is
And
so
we
beautiful.
did.
And we did. And that's
It's a good chapel.
And that's why it didn't take Elliot and I a very long time to like pick a wedding location because
Yeah.
I remember I had that wedding of my clients and I said this is the most beautiful place I've
It
ever seen.
is.
That's the first place on my
it,
list.
it was so good. Like, it was a very good venue.
I wanted to get married there because she got married there.
Aww.
Yeah,
It
and
was the first wedding that you ever went to. And it was
Yeah.
also the first wedding you were ever in.
Yeah, true.
That's so cute.
True. Guys, I've literally never been a maid of honor or a bridesmaid because I'm always doing the makeup and lashes. And that's okay. That's like a role that I
Always
like.
a bride,
Because-
never a bridesmaid.
Yeah, I'm like never stressed at weddings because I never have to do like bridesmaid or maid of honor activities, even though I would absolutely slay at them. But I'm literally there always to like do the glam. And that's my favorite role ever because it's like you're helping, but you don't have to
But
like
then you get to hang out.
yeah, you get to hang out. You get snacks. It's awesome. And my best advice for beginners is there's a few.
Oh, yeah, that's what we were doing.
Yeah, my best advice for beginners, now that we've had a few giggles, is your number one focus should be on building your skill and getting good enough.
Yeah.
And obviously it took me like a lot longer, so that's why I want to tell you not to take as long as I did. You could fast track it.
Yeah.
I really took my time.
But it's going to take at least, a couple months.
Yeah, that's the thing is like focus on getting good enough. You can't focus on all these fancy marketing tactics and like, you have to focus on your skill.
Yeah.
If your skill sucks, which it will in the beginning,
Absolutely.
focus on it sucking for like a less amount of time.
Yeah. Because, like, you could either, like, not focus on your skill and put a ton of energy into, like, marketing yourself and getting clients and getting all these, like, one-time clients who are going to see you one time and then be like, that wasn't great, and then they never see you again. Or you could spend 2 months getting, like, good, and then the marketing stuff's so much easier.
Yeah, truly. Yeah. And a lot of people ask me today as well about imposter syndrome, which I have to touch on. And it's like, you can do things that take a little bit of that away from you. And it's like, if you are that girl, you're going to feel like that girl. If you put the time and effort and energy into your skill, a little bit of that, like, oh, I'm not good enough, like everyone else is doing better than me, that will like get less over time. It will. So it's like, I remember, yeah, of course I felt like, oh, do I belong here? Like, am I good enough? You know, in the beginning, but you just have to like,
Just work at it.
just work at it.
Yeah.
It won't go away altogether. You know, you're a human. Of course, you're going to always have insecurity. Of course, that's like, you're a human. But focus on yourself. Put that time into yourself.
Just work at it until you know you're the ITGIRL.
You know you are that girl.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you know who doesn't have imposter syndrome? The ITGIRL.
Yeah, the it girls do not.
They do not.
And the other thing is like, don't like, and this is also about imposter syndrome. Is like, I would focus on yourself and the people you're serving more than the people around you. Like, don't focus on what anyone else is like saying or doing or teaching or doing wrong.
Yeah, I think one of the only reasons that people get it that's not related to themselves is because they're like looking at what everyone else is doing, and they're like, oh, that person's so much farther than me, like I suck.
Well, and I see a lot of beginners that are also very cocky, and they're looking around and being like, oh, this girl's doing this wrong and this girl's work is horrible. And I'm like, dude, you need to here's the thing. The only thing that you should be talking about with other people in this industry is the things that they're doing well.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, if you are a beginner lash artist, I would never, ever be critiquing other people's work or anything like that, because you're still working on your own work.
Yeah.
And
First of all, you're probably wrong.
Yeah. And second of all,
it doesn't help you.
It doesn't help you.
It doesn't help you to focus on the stuff that other people are doing bad. You should be focusing on the good stuff so that you can
actively be like thinking, like only like following people that are like inspiring you and doing better than you, and like that, you not because you're comparing yourself, but that you can look up to something. And you have people that say you can do this. You know, everyone that I had kind of in the lash circle when I was starting out were very like, they were always tearing each other down, and so I felt very torn down. And it was when I started looking at these people and saying, what are they doing better than I am? What is something that I could like be inspired from? And I started slowly surrounding myself with people that, you know, inspired me and I could learn from. Number two, a lot of beginners have questions about working on friends and family clients. And I think there is a way to do it and a way to go about it. I would not rely on building your clientele through friends and family.
No.
Because it's just different.
It also runs out really quick.
Yeah. It's really hard because with clients, if there ever is a situation where maybe like they can't afford you anymore, or they're not happy with your work, or they want to see someone closer to them, they want to see someone else,
they'll just do it.
Yeah, it's hard. You don't want to strain that relationship.
Yeah, well, it's easy if it's a client, but yeah, if it's friends and family, then that gets tough.
You kind of want to keep that separate. So I have never taken friends and family clients. If I do my family, it's because I offered to for a special event for free.
Yeah,
it's a gift. And if it's a friend, I offer to do their lashes for free as a gift or as like a trade for something.
Yeah.
But it's never ever like
if you do friends and family, it probably should always be for free. Yeah. It makes it easier.
Like models or portfolio work or anything like that, because if you're expecting all your friends to be paying clients, a lot of the time it doesn't work out that way. They might still see you as like a friend. They might not see you as a business owner, whereas clients will see you as a business owner.
But I think maybe one way, like when you're first starting out, it could be helpful to take some friends and family clients. Obviously you're not going to charge them, but like when you're still learning, like obviously like at your lash trainings and stuff, you've learned how to do things like safely, and you've kind of learned how to do the technique without like
hurting anyone,
but you're still gonna suck for the first few months.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good time
of
to
course,
take,
like if your
friends
your
and
mom
family.
and your sisters and your friends are like willing, you know,
but like they're doing you a favor.
They're doing you a favor
by letting you practice on them.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. So there's kind of that boundary that I would expect to be there, because I've had a few girls be like, hey, you know, I started my business and my friends and family like aren't supportive. They're not booking with me. And I'm like, whoa, you should never start a business relying on the people that you're related to and that you hang out with to pay your bills.
You should get the Dream Clientele course.
You really should, girly. Yeah. But yeah, no, I always tried. And also, what if they're like not your ideal client? You know, a lot of the time, like our friends and family, you know, they can be so supportive of our business, but like what if they're not like super high maintenance? They don't want to get their lashes done. They're kind of feeling like they're doing you a favor and that you're practicing on them. But like a year in, you're not practicing on them. You're like, that's your business. So I would be wary of that and just, you know, take friends and family clients as like, you know, models and free and for events and gifts. And again, it's a great job to be able to treat people in your family. You know, I love working on my friends and family. I absolutely love it. But you don't want to rely on, you know, the people in your circle to be your clients. You want to know that you have to market yourself to the public.
Well, yeah. And you want to know that you have like the ability to do that whenever you need to. Like with friends and family, it's like if they stop seeing you, then it's like, well, that's it. Like not many people have like 150 friends and family that they can be like, oh, well, I'll just reach out to my other friends and family.
Yeah. My extended family.
Yeah. Because like it is harder obviously to get like clients just by marketing and reaching out and like doing all the stuff that like we talk about. But once you've figured out how to do that and once you've mastered that skill, then
it's repeatable.
Yeah, you have it forever. You can get as many clients as you want.
The other thing I wanted to talk about if you're a beginner is dealing with allergies and irritations.
Yeah, do deal with them.
This is a big one.
Because a lot of people don't.
The longer that you are a lash artist, the longer that you have been applying lash extensions to people, you will come into contact with clients that have sensitivities, irritations, and sometimes even allergies. And this could be an allergy to one of many things. It's not always cyanoacrylate, but it usually is.
The allergies are very rare.
Very rare and you need to know how to take care of them.
Yeah, because it was so funny. We were talking to a girl recently who was like, oh yeah, I'm allergic to lash extensions. And like every lash artist there was like, I don't know. Those are very rare. Like, are you sure?
Because she was wearing eyelash extensions.
Because she was wearing eyelash extensions. And we were like, I don't know. Are you sure? But then she started saying, she's like, yeah, and I'm allergic to acrylic nails also. And she's like, yeah, this is what happened. And we're like, oh, wait, like you actually
should not be getting eyelash.
Like, why do you have extensions on right now? What are you doing? She's like, oh yeah, it kind of sucks.
She was like one of those girls that's like, I fight through the pain. But basically, the longer you do lashes, the more you're going to come in contact with stuff. And I think it's important to touch on, when I was first starting out, I was very lucky that I only had a few people with, irritations and chemical burns. And I have only ever had 2 clients in my entire lash career have an allergy to cyanoacrylate.
What?
In 15,000, 20,000 appointments.
And one of them was like so recent. And it was so sad. Yeah.
Love of my life. We still get coffee.
Yeah.
It's very, very sad, but it needs to be like taken seriously, and you need to have a protocol on it before you open your doors for business. Protocol. But I don't know why I said it like that. I'm so tired, Elliot.
I'm sleepy too. Maybe this is the
maybe
only episode today, and then maybe we do one tomorrow.
I was like, we're gonna film
3 episodes today.
No, I honestly.
And I'm like, I'm getting
Elliot, I need a nap, and I need dinner, and I need to watch the Golden Bachelor finale immediately.
Girl, freaking same.
I need to know who Gary picks on the Golden Bachelor.
I need to know.
So well, I don't know who to pick. They're both so nice.
Teresa's so lovely, but
Teresa is so lovely.
Leslie's
so beautiful.
She's kind of saucy.
She's
got
long
legs.
crazy.
She's crazy.
She used to be a dancer.
I'm obsessed with the Golden Bachelor, you guys.
Madison is. She's addicted.
I'm addicted, and I wish
every time we watch, we're like screaming at the TV. It's like
screaming.
I've never been this invested in a TV show.
Me either. Like I love The Bachelor.
I'm like,
girl,
you're sending her home.
The Golden Bachelor.
You're sending Ellen home.
Yeah.
What the frick?
When they sent Ellen home, Elliot was rioting.
I was like, you're sending home pickleball lady.
Yeah.
She was so cool.
Please watch The Golden Bachelor so you understand this reference. But anyway, so I've really only had like 2 clients my entire career, one in Alaska and one in Arizona, ever have a true allergy. And I would urge you, if you're a beginner, to take a beginner training that has an emphasis on allergy and irritation protocol. Okay.
And if they don't talk about it in their like marketing material, you can message them and ask them.
Yep.
Ask them if they cover it, and then ask them how in depth they go. Because a lot of people are going to be like, oh yeah, we cover it, but then be like, no. Like I want, like, what specifically are you covering? Like, I want to make sure because I need to know this.
Because you don't want to take a course where they're like, we cover allergies and sensitivities, and then
in the course
you
they're
go to the
like,
class and they go, some people have allergies and sensitivities. All right,
anyways.
Yeah, no, you really want to like understand what is happening, because if you have incorrect information and you have a client, you know, because this is something they're not going to teach you in beauty school, and a lot of the time they're not going to teach you in your first beginner lash training. So I would make sure that you are taking a beginner lash training that is extremely in depth on allergies and irritations. I don't know any of them because I've never taken one.
You should take one. They don't exist, but you should.
Well, I
know they exist.
I know they exist, but I
don't know which
I personally did not take one.
So good luck.
Because I was trained by a hairstylist.
And she did not get that. She had to figure it out herself.
No. But I literally like was taught how to use barbicide because I asked how to use barbicide.
Should we make a thing on allergies and sensitivities?
1,000,000%.
I feel like that'd be
I feel like I should give
course.
a free crash course in the next episode.
Yeah, it should be,
just like a 20-minute quick thing.
Yeah, actually, that's a good idea.
And I think people are like so hesitant to talk on it because they're like, well, you know,
they don't want to be like giving
wrong.
medical advice. Exactly.
Yeah, because there is a lot with allergies that's outside of our scope of practice, but there is stuff with allergies that is in our scope of practice, and that's called protocol. And that means that when a client says, hey girl, my eyelids flared up and they're completely red and swollen shut, what do I do? You know, whatever.
Squirt some Flonase on it.
Do not squirt anything in there. Yeah, and so...
No, but I've heard people say that.
Yeah, but I will tell you my story. So when I was first getting my own eyelashes done for the first few years, you know, back in Alaska, I was getting really severe chemical burns, and I was told that I was allergic to eyelash extensions because I reached out to the lash artist, and I saw the most amazing lash artist. She was amazing. And I remember I was like, hey, my eyes are all, you know, red and whatever. They weren't swollen. They were just, my eyes were red. She goes, oh my gosh, you're allergic to lash glue. I said, oh, no. What? I'm a lash artist for a living. Like, if I was allergic to lash glue, wouldn't you think I'd be like sensitive during the day or, you know, whatever? And I went to a doctor, and he also said, yep, you're allergic to lashes. I said, lashes?
The doctor?
And the doctor said, you're allergic to the lashes themselves.
You're allergic to your own lashes.
I was like, wait, but like eyelash extensions are made out of like PBT fiber. Like
they're plastic.
They're plastic.
They're plastic. How am I allergic to plastic?
Not only do the doctors often not know, but if the lash artists don't know and the doctors don't know, and everyone's like swirling around false information, and people are squirting Flonase into each other's eyes, like, you know, a lot of people are going to think they have allergies when they don't. And I'll tell you one thing. I am absolutely not allergic to eyelash extensions. I'm not even sensitive to eyelash extensions.
That girl just had your eyes open while she was putting them on.
Guys, my eyes were just a little bit open.
That girl just gave you a chemical burn.
It was, well, not even a chemical burn. It was just that, like, the cyanoacrylate can dry out the eye. It's a drying agent.
Yeah.
And so when your sclera is, like, exposed to the air and the fumes, you know, it's going to dry out the whites of your eyes a little bit, and they're going to get red and they're going to get irritated. But then in a few days, they were right back to normal because I'm not allergic to eyelash extensions. And allergies will usually always present themselves in the form of swelling.
Yeah.
Like, that's how our body likes to react to allergies. And so I wasn't allergic, obviously. But that's why it's really important to have accurate information and to be able to accurately, you know, say to clients, okay, this is what's going on. You're having an irritation. I think you're sensitive to this. Or if you're a beginner, hey, I think I did this wrong. I think I maybe got too close to the margin of your eyelid. I think that I actually had your left eye open a little bit. I'm so sorry.
Oopsie.
Yeah, like when you're a beginner, there's going to be oopsies, and the oopsies are going to hurt, unfortunately. But that's why it's important to
not be charging a lot.
Yeah, in the beginning, it's important to not charge a lot and to make sure your skill is there, and not just your skill with application or mapping or anything like that, but your skill with comfort and your skill with the products you use.
Yeah, that's a big part of it.
It's a huge part of it, and your name can get so tarnished if you're giving someone an irritation and they're telling everyone, "Oh, I was allergic to eyelash extensions. I can never get them again." And you know, you might have just done something a little bit wrong.
It would be better if you were bad at doing lash extensions but really good at like keeping people's eyes from getting irritated than the opposite.
Yeah.
Like if you're really good at like taping people and making sure their eyes are closed and making sure that like they leave and they feel good and nothing hurts, like that's so much better than if you're just like really good at lashes, but every client who leaves with like bright red eyes.
Yeah, truly. So yeah, I'll do a crash course on that soon because it's kind of a lot to unpack. But at the end of the day, you need to have a protocol in place if you're a beginner. And that means like knowing when to say consult your GP, knowing when to say, oh my gosh, that's an irritation, I did something wrong, come back in for a complimentary fix. You know, there's protocol that beginners need to have that you need your beginner training to cover. And if I was a beginner, I would keep in the back of my mind that you don't need to go to an expensive bougie beauty school, because beauty school isn't going to teach you about eyelash extensions in most cases. The majority of beauty schools in the US are going to teach you about, sanitation and hygiene and facials and how to wax an eyebrow. And you're going to get a certificate and you're going to leave. And then you're going to invest into a great beginner in-person, preferably lash course. Mm-hmm. That's kind of like probably what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. And I went to, people are always like, oh, did you, have a great start? Did you go to like a big bougie aesthetic school? Nope. No, girl, I went to.
You don't need to.
You don't need to.
It's a waste of money.
It is.
Like, spend that money on the best lash training you can.
If you want to be a lash artist, a lash professional, put it into your lash education.
Absolutely.
1,000,000%.
The only reason you're going to beauty school is for that piece of paper.
If your state requires it.
That's literally it. And some states don't even require it.
Yeah. And then in that case, you have more money to invest into lash education.
Perfect.
Yeah. Our beginner trainings are currently only in person. We don't offer them online yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're only in person just because that is how I believe is the best for beginners to learn.
Yeah.
It is. And I hope this was helpful to you guys. Mm-hmm. If you're a beginner, I'm just giving you a big squeeze and a big hug, because I know it's hard out there, and I know it's just easy to feel like you don't belong, and this is all so foreign to you, and you have so many questions, but don't stress out, girl, because
you're going to do a great job.
You are going to do a great job. And like, we're all just figuring it out. And if you think I have it all together now, you have no idea the amount of stuff I had to go through, 6, 7, 8 years ago, 9, 10 years ago, when I was first getting started in makeup, a decade of my life ago, when I was 15 doing people's prom makeup.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's like you will go through so much, and there's no finish line. It's all the journey. Mm-hmm. And you're going to learn something every day. And you always have to see yourself as a beginner. Even today, I'm like, there's techniques and things that I see out there, and I'm like, I want to learn that. I want to do that. And I just urge you to stay open-minded and stay positive, and not look at what, people around you are doing wrong. Look at what they're doing well, for sure, and then be friends with them, and then give them a pat on the back. But, stay in your own lane and focus on yourself, and, you're going to do amazing. You're going to make really beautiful things. You're going to make a lot of people happy, because I truly believe this is the best job you could ever, 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 ever have.
Facts.
Ever.
True.
My friends, like, just knowing how I speak about my career.
It's the best.
My friends, we were on a camping trip last week, and they were all like, I want to be a lash artist.
Teach me how to do lashes.
And they were like, I genuinely want to learn. And they said,
the way you talk about it, that sounds awesome.
One of my girlfriends was like, she's a full-time mom. She was like, she doesn't do lashes at all. She goes, Maddie, I'm dead serious. How long would it take me to like get booked and market myself and take your courses? And like, you teach me from scratch. I'll listen to anything you say. Like, how long would it take me? And I was like, it's so crazy to me. Like, people will be so inspired by you. Mm-hmm. And, obviously this job isn't easy. It comes with its hardships, like any job, but
it's better than most.
It's the freaking best job in the whole
It's better
world.
Than most jobs.
It's the best job in the world.
Yeah.
I can't name a better job. So that was my little teeny weeny beginner story. Hope you guys enjoyed, and until next time.
Yeah, I still can't think of a better job. Yeah, but until next time, I was
Can
trying.
you think of a better job?
Okay, my first idea was like professional theme park ride reviewer, but then I was like, that probably doesn't pay very well.
No, you probably throw up a lot too.
Yeah, and yeah.
Also, what if the ride sucked?
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Maybe maybe like private airplane reviewer, and you have to like ride in private airplanes to like talk about how good they are.
Yeah, I think after being a lash artist, that's a pretty good job.
Yeah, okay, second best job in the world after being a lash artist is being a private airplane reviewer. Anyways,
guys,
thank you so much for listening.
If you're a beginner, we love you. Please share this episode with a beginner or share it on your stories, because it makes us happy, and it lets us know
it makes a difference.
It lets us know that you like the podcast, and it tells others where to find us too. So.
And let us know if you want us to make more beginner content.
Yeah.
Because we can.
Yeah.
We can make whatever you want.
Yeah.
You just tell us.
Love
the best
you guys.
ideas, we will make them.
We'll talk to you.
Love you so much.
Talk to you next time. Smooches.
Bye.
Bye.